everybody, welcome to my channel Island Daily. My name is Dr. Raymond and I'm an optometrist. And today we're going to learn about dispensing. So, what do you think as an optometrist? Why is dispensing important for us and what is its significance in our field? And also, we're going to discuss about different spectacle frame parts. So, stay tuned. We're going to get started. Now, can you tell what's this? These are two prisms, right? This prism is attached from base to base, and this prism attaches from apex to apex. This makes a convex lens, and this makes a concave lens. Now, the light rays will come parallel and they will bend towards the base, right? The light rays will come and they will bend towards the base. And what happens at this point? This. The light rays will travel unbothered. They will not bend. They will travel in a straight path. This point is called optical center. Now, this optical center should be in front of the pupil. It should be in front of the pupil center so that the light rays will pass through this point and they will straightly focus onto the retina. Now, sometimes it happens that a patient comes and they say that they're not comfortable with their glasses. So, what do we do? We actually adjust the spectacle frame. How? We do a pentoscopic tilt and we do a retroscopic tilt. So, this is the lateral view of a spectral frame. So this was its actual position, and you have tilted this spectacle frame inwards. So what you're doing, you're actually making the optical center come down. You're actually repositioning the optical center, which comes from here to here, right? So what you're doing a pentoscopic tilt. Now, same is the case with retroscopic tilt. This is the lateral aspect of a spectacle frame, and this was a spectacle frame, and you have made it move away from the cheeks. So, what you're doing is you're repositioning the optical center from here to here. You've repositioned the optical center above so that it lies in front of the pupil, right? The pupil center was here and your optical center was here. Of course, the patient was facing asthenopic symptoms. So this was one aspect why you should learn dispensing. There are many other aspects. The second one is, of course, which also says the name of the playlist, business optometry. So, why is dispensing important from the business point of view? So, if you want to open an optical shop, and why an optical shop? It's because the profit is double the amount of investment you're going to make, right? So, in order to open an optical shop, you must be familiar with the lens material, frame material, and also the process through which a spectacle lens is going to be made. So, in this course, you're going to learn everything about dispensing. Now let's talk about the parts of a spectacle frame. So, a spectacle frame consists of two major compartments. The first one is frame front, and the second is temple. So, the frame front is the part which holds the lenses holding the ophthalmic prescription, and the temple is the part which keeps the frame front in front of the eyes. Now, let's talk about different parts of the frame front. This part comes over the bridge of the nose and so is named nose bridge. This part, which holds the ophthalmic lens, is called rim or wire, right? This part, which attaches to the temple, is called end piece. And we have this small hinge. This is called shield. Now, coming to the temple, the part which attaches to the end shield is called butt. This part which bends is called the bend. From the butt to the bend, this piece is called shank or shaft. This piece is called earpiece. And we also have hinges on the butt, which are called shield. Sometimes in metal frames, we also have an extra wire between right and left frame for stability. This is called top bar. Now, let's talk about different types of nose bridges and different types of lens materials. We have two major types of frame materials, plastic and metal. Now, we have three major types of nose bridges and plastic materials, saddle, modified saddle, and keyhole. And in metal, we have saddle and nose pad. So, what is a saddle nose bridge? You've guessed it right, like the saddle of a horse. In this type of nose bridge, the weight of the spectacle frame is equally distributed on the top part of the nose and the sides of the nose, right? And in modified saddle nose bridges, they are same like saddle nose bridges, but they also have nose pads. Not the nose pads, but actually made of plastic. I will show you their pictures later. In keyhole nose bridge, there is this flare on the top part, and we have this part with a nose bridge. And this type of nose bridge, the weight does not lie on the upper part of the nose, just only on the sides of the nose. These type of nose bridges are important if the patient has any type of nose injury, right? Now, coming to the metal nose bridge saddle, this is the same. This is the same as a plastic saddle nose bridge. The difference is just that it is made up of metal, right? In nose pad, we have this top bar, and right here we have these nylon nose pads which are attached to the rim with the help of pad arms. So these are a few pictures of metal nose bridges. This is a typical picture of saddle, metal saddle nose bridge. As you can see that there are no nose pads right here, and we just have this metal saddle nose bridge. This is a nose pad nose bridge, metal nose bridge. We have these nose pads, rubber nose pads actually. These are pad arms through which these rubber pads are going to attach to the rim. These are the pad arms, and this is the pad. In metal nose bridges, the weight will only lie on the nose pads. Now, let's take a look at a few pictures of plastic nose bridges. The first picture consists of a keyhole nose bridge. You can see this flare right here, and we also have nose pads in this frame. This is a simple saddle nose bridge which does not consist of any nose pad. This is a modified saddle bridge which also consists of plastic nose bridges. Now, let's move toward types of temples. Before discussing the type of temples, let's just discuss different types of end pieces. So I've told you earlier that we have an end piece one which attaches the butt of the temple to the frame front, right? So there are three types of it: butt, mitre, and turn back. Now, butt end piece is the most common type. In this end piece, the frame front and the temple butt makes a 90-degree angle. In mitre, the frame front and the temple butt makes a 45-degree angle. And in turn back, we have this bend in the end piece, and then the butt of the temple attaches to this bended end piece, making a 90-degree angle. In most metal frames, we use this turn back end piece. And between this frame front and the temple, we have these hinges, which are hooked on the temple and the frame front. So in this picture, you can see different types of end pieces. The first one, mitre one, shows a 45-degree angle. The butt end piece, the most common one, makes a 90-degree angle. And in turn back piece, you can see that the end piece first bends and then attaches to the butt of the shaft at a 90-degree angle. Notice the type of hinges in this type of end piece is different. There are five major types of temples. The first one consists of skull, which is the most major type, library, convertible, riding bow, and comfort cable. The skull one is the most classic one. The thickness of the shaft decreases posteriorly and is thinnest at the bend, and then again it increases at the earpiece. The library does not consist of any bend. Instead, the thickness of the shaft decreases posteriorly, and it holds the frame front in front of our eyes by pressing against the side of the head. The convertible temples are made up of convertible materials, and they can be converted into any type of bend. They usually come in straight. They're actually straight, and you can mold them in any type of bend. Riding bow. These are type of temples which are made for kids basically. They're made up of plastic actually, and comfort cables are similar to the riding bow, and they just consist of a metal cable like this. They consist of a single metal cable, and they are usually made for older people. Now let's talk about different types of spectacle frames. So there are two types of materials, plastic and metal. I have also mentioned it before. So the first plastic spectacle frame was made of tortoise shell. Later, it started being made of xylonite, also known as cellulose nitrate. It was a highly flammable material, so its use was ceased, and now we use many other materials, which we will talk about in future. Now, based on diameter, we have two spectacle frames: partial frame and full frame. The partial frame consists of a very small diameter, which are only used for near read. They are also known as reading glasses. A full frame consists of a bigger diameter, so that three distances, even if you want to have a bifocal or a trifocal, all the distances can submerge in these types. Now, there are three types of spectacle frame based on rims. The first one consists of full rim, in which the rim covers the whole lens. The second one is semi-rim or semi-rimless. It can be both, in which the rim only covers the superior surface of the lens. The inferior does not contain a rim. Or sometimes it may also contain nylon cord to hold it in place, but it is invisible. The third one consists of full rimless, which is also called a three-piece. It's also called a three-piece because there are only, as the name tells, three pieces: a nose bridge, which attaches directly to the lens, and temples, which also attach directly to the lens, also the nose pads. Now, there are also types of spectacle frames which are seldom used now. You might have seen in vintage movies the ladies and gents that were holding a spectacle frame in which there were no temples, rather there was a stick. These type of spectacle frames are called lorgnette. So this is a picture of a lorgnette spectacle frame. These are ball grip mounting spectacle frames. You can see in the left side picture that there is a bevel. These type of spectacle frames consist of attachable and detachable lenses. So these are better for people who carry multiple prescriptions and they cannot carry multiple frames. Last but not the least, we have this Tosser spectacle frame. we have this crossover right here, which indents in the superior palpebral fissure and lifts the crease of the lid, and this how it prevents tosses. Now, this was another aspect why you should be learning dispensing. So, this was it for today. There are many videos coming up in the future related to this topic, and till then, stay tuned and like and subscribe. Thank you.